Hey guys, this is Ponce, and I'm here to let you guys know about the new Fiora rework. Now, if you want the actual Riot post, you can read this at your own leisure. That's in the description below. But why don't I go over this, and we can kind of look it over stuff together, and I can share my thoughts on it. But first, yeah, let's just go over the abilities. Let's start with the passive. As you can see, she creates these weak point things on people like that, and they're directionally based with a very clear indicator. They appear there. Fiora's going to attack. Gets a heal, speed boost, and yeah, deals extra true damage. So just to kind of be clear about that again, it's a positional thing. See, there's one here. Fiora's going to hit that. It's going to reappear. It's going to go all the way up here. Just go around. Now, I find that quite curious because I don't know why. Maybe I'm thinking of a very old Riot post or something, or maybe I'm just making stuff up. But I thought Riot didn't like positional sort of based, sort of conditional stuff like that. Like, the only real other examples of this are, I think, off the top of my head, Trindamir's slow thing and Shaco's passive. And I thought they were trying to work it out of the game, but I guess not. Riot's cool with positional stuff because here's a new example of it. Anyway, let's move on. Here's the lunge. Now it appears to be a skill shot of sorts. Like so, and it's got a bunch of blesser mechanics going on with it, so let's just read it over real quick. Fiora lunges in a target direction before striking a nearby enemy, dealing damage and applying on-hit effects. Lunge prioritizes enemy champions and tries to hit enemy weak spots. Finally, some of Lunge's cooldown is refreshed when the ability strikes an enemy. So it's not that double dash thing it used to be anymore, it looks like. It's a skill shot that interacts with a number of things now. So kind of interesting. Not the most reworked skill ever, but it is different. All right, next let's go with Riposte. However you like to pronounce it. So it's now kind of like a directional pseudo skill shot counter kind of thing. Reminds me of, think a little bit like, I guess, Scion's charge up Q, I guess. That's kind of the idea, except you absorb damage while it's going on. But let's quickly read over so you guys have a very clear idea of what's happening here. Fiora enters a defensive stance, parrying all damage and hard crowd control abilities for a fraction of a second. After she's done parrying, Fiora attacks in a targeted direction, damaging and briefly slowing the first enemy champion she strikes. If she parries any hard crowd control abilities, Riposte stuns instead of slows. So you can saw, or rather you saw at the end there, she parried Morgana's thing there and then counter stunned. So that's kind of interesting. Let's go to blade work next. Let's just read it off first before we go into it. Fiora gains increased attack speed on her next two basic attacks. The first attack cannot crit, but slows her target, while the second is a guaranteed crit. So that's kind of interesting. As you can see, there's a big crit there. I mean, it's not the most complicated skill ever, but it certainly is different from the old one. Thematically, it's similar, though. All right, last, let's go with the ult. It interacts with her passive, essentially, a lot. It creates all these weak points all around the person. And if you destroy all of them, you get a whole bunch of healing. And here's the second case of using it. So she just killed the Lux here before all the passives around her had a chance to go off. So if you kill the person, the whole healing effect goes off. So let's just read over the thing really quick so we're very clear as to what it does. Fiora targets an enemy champion, gaining speed and full knowledge of their vitals, as in gets full stacks of her passive. Each time she destroys a weak spot, she deals % max health true damage. % max damage, yeah. Anyway, if she's able to destroy all 4 weak spots, or if she destroys at least one before her target dies, Fiora creates a large and long-lasting zone under her enemy that heals Fiora and her allied champions. So interesting. Kind of like I'm going to murder you version of Janna's ult, I suppose. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like this overall, the rework, it should clear up a lot of issues with Fiora. Like the old, or rather the one that currently exists on live, is just kind of like, it's a really feast or famine kind of, you either snowball crazy in lane, just press your ult and murder everyone, and there's no counterplay kind of thing, or you get shut down and it's just like you're kind of a wet noodle that flops around the field and someone eventually smacks you away, and that's kind of the end of you. Riot puts it fairly well down here. The TLDR of the changes is that we wanted to better execute on the fantasy of a duelist. Now, Riot uses the term fantasy a lot. They say that they basically mean theme, and it's a really fancy way of saying theme. I don't know why, I know why, but anyway, someone who wins through smarts and mechanical ability rather than brute numbers. So that's what I was kind of getting at there. Is this whole Fiora was essentially a very kind of brute force. You mash your ult, and then people die or they don't die, kind of thing, depending on how hard you'd snowballed. So if Riot is successful with their goals and just kind of making her more of a, I don't know, a tactical player, I suppose, which is, I guess, mainly a lot of it's going to come from this whole passive thing here where we're talking about just kind of moving around and being careful about your mechanics. Definitely creates sort of this, if not the illusion of, like, the, you know, at the very least, or rather, either it'll create the illusion of, or in fact require sort of very skilled and precise play. We'll see how it actually plays out. Now, I'd like to bring you guys the gameplay of this. Unfortunately, I'm having problems with the PB right now, so I can't get on the PB at the moment. But as soon as I get that sorted out, I will provide you guys with actual in-game, you know, gameplay stuff. You know, play some games of Fiora. I didn't actually like old Fiora at all. Largely for the reasons that were kind of outlined here. Generally speaking, though, I don't like glass cannon melee DPS either, like, you know, your Master Yi style kind of thing. But, you know, I'll give this a shot. We'll see how it goes. Incidentally, Fiora was actually the first on-release champion I purchased, and I really didn't like her, so that was unfortunate. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys found this informative. And once again, the description below will contain the actual Riot post itself, and also in the annotations and down there, as soon as I have in-game gameplay footage and stuff like that up, that will be there as well. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all around, hopefully.